So welcome to The Future of Diversity, a guest chef program inviting chefs of color to showcase their talent and culinary ventures at Osteria la Spiga. My name is Sabrina Tinsley, and I'm the executive chef and co-owner of Osteria la Spiga. And with me this evening is Chef Jalissa Horton. Chef Jalissa takes pride in preparing delicious comfort food using flavors around the world. Her Southern comfort dishes reflect her family's favorite recipes inspired by the African diaspora. She graduated from Johnson and Wales University with a degree in culinary arts and Florence University of Arts in Italy. Her businesses provide corporate personal chef services, virtual cooking classes, and customizable weekly menus. Welcome, Chef Jalissa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's dig right in. I'm always curious to start with, the background. Like, where did you grow up?
Yes. So I was born in Seattle. I lived in Rainier Beach until I was a few years old. And then we moved to Federal Way. And I've been spending the majority of my life in Federal Way and Kent.
Okay, so in the South End,
Yes.
that's great. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one older brother.
Okay, great. That's awesome. So when exactly in your life did you get interested in cooking, and how did you decide that you were going to make a career out of that?
Well, the first instance when I was 10 years old and I realized that processed food wasn't for me. I didn't like ramen, I didn't like cereal, so I think I had to learn how to cook. And the first thing my mom taught me was a potato skillet hash. And then I still cook it to this day. So from there, when I was 13, that's when I really started cooking. Like I would turn my family's home into a restaurant. And on the weekends, I would make my mom be the waiter and she would wait on our friends and family. And I think our first meal was chicken fettuccine. And we just did that. I did that up until high school. And it wasn't to the general public, it was just to practice on friends and family. But that's what I did. I loved it.
That's awesome. That's kind of where it all starts. I remember playing restaurant with my sisters growing up as well.
Yeah,
And we have a restaurant. So it's kind
right,
of telling. I think, when you're a kid, like not much changes,
right.
when you grow up, you're still the same person ultimately. So that's awesome that you stuck with it through all of this. And how did you, so, and now you have your business, it's a catering business mostly, but you also do private chefing for corporate events. You do cooking classes online mostly, right?
Yes,
And then you have a cooking club, and you're also selling to farmers markets, right?
yes,
Tell me
yes.
about the farmers markets.
So right now we're doing weekly at the South Lake Union, and that's Thursdays from 11 to 3. And originally we were at Pike Place Market in 2019. So those same farmers market coordinators, they called us to ask us to come back to the market. And we're also at the Delridge Market, and that's Saturdays, second Saturday of every month until November 13th, and that's from 11 to 3. And so what we like to feature there is our desserts. Those were the first products that we ever featured at the market back in 2019, which was our sweet potato pie, our peach cobbler, our pound cake, our cinnamon rolls, our apple crisp. And now we've been introduced our hand pies, and we do have a hot entree that we do, which is our hoe cakes and our braised chicken, our chimichurri, and our cotija cheese is one of our options. But we do switch up our menus weekly. We always, analyze what sells, what doesn't sell, or we always think about our competition. So our menu fluctuates.
Nice. And you mentioned pound cake, but I don't think it's just any old pound cake. I think.
No, it's a classic 7 Up pound cake. It's super moist. We usually do like fresh berries on top. Like we'll do a nice strawberry or blueberry sauce that we get from the Pike Place Market. We'll grab some berries and put that on top. And back in the day, I used to grill it and do it like a sundae. Yeah, grilled pound cake. I know. So
Sounds
yeah, it's a really good cake.
That's awesome. And so you also are, you found the Food Innovation Network,
Yes.
which is a business incubator
Yes.
in Tequila. Tell us a little bit about the experience with them and how they've helped you with your business.
Yes, my mom was actually scouring on Craigslist trying to find a commissary kitchen space when I really decided I was going to do this full time. I was still working at a restaurant, and she was scouring on Craigslist, and then it came across a post from the Food Innovation Network, and her the lady name is John B. She's still a coordinator there, and it was an orientation for finding entrepreneurs to join the program, and it was a kitchen in Project Feast, what it's called, and it's in Kent. And they allowed us to come in to use their space for our caterings and all of our events. And it was a process. We started out towards February and March of 2019. They started giving us caterings leads that come in through their portal that they have. And because they were so well connected and the director of the program is really well respected in the community, we were able to get a lot of like Amazon caterings, City of Seattle, King County Public Health, like so many different caterings and farmers markets came through Finn. So I always owe a lot to Finn. They really helped us in 2019 really get out there.
That's awesome. You have some big hitters as clients.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So just to back up a little bit,
Okay.
I happen to know that you're a graduate of Johnson and Wales University. You got uh, what is it? What was the name of your degree that you got from there? A culinary arts degree?
Yes, culinary arts degree. I know.
Well, tell me about your experience at the college and what attracted you to their program to begin with, and where is that?
Johnson Wales University has four campuses, one in Denver, one in Miami, North Carolina, and then Providence, Rhode Island is where I started at. And so I went to the Denver campus, and I really liked the school. They have really good teachers. Denver's pretty chill. It's mild mannered, but I learned a lot from that university. But what originally, made me want to go there was an admissions rep. Her name was Stephanie, and she told me about the school, and it was between Johnson Wells and CIA, and I was like kind of intimidated of CIA. I was like, I don't know if that's for me, which is the Culinary Institute of America, and then it was Johnson and Wells, which was like a all around school that has it's a hospitality school. So it wasn't just culinary; it was tourism, sports management, like all kind of things. So. And it's really known. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll do that. And I immediately liked it. I met a lot of people and whatnot.
Nice. And how long is that program?
It's a 2 year or 4 year program. If you could do the 4 year, it's you get your bachelor's and you can do food service management or you can do nutrition. If you do nutrition, that's like you're going to do like research. You're going to work in Campbell's in a factory and you're developing products stuff like that. And if you do food service management, that's more of the restaurant side.
Okay, got it. But you also had an experience in Italy at the University of Arts in Florence.
Yes,
Tell me
yes.
about that. Sounds
Yes.
like
When I asked the dean actually if I could, instead of interning at a restaurant, because I had experience prior to that, I wanted to do my study abroad and my internship in Italy. And he was like, of course. He was Italian. So he was like, of course. Like, you want to go to Italy? Sure, let's do it. So I got to do that. And the first week, I was there for almost 3 months. The first week, we did a lot of backpacking on the coast of Tuscany. We went to Cinque Terre. We just did every day. We just picked up and went somewhere new. Um, we went to castles and vineyards and all over. And then after the first week, we were stationed in Florence, and I was there for almost 3 months. And from there, you have school, you have the restaurant where you get to work. You know, 2 to 11. There's different shifts, and um, outside people get to come in and you get to feed them and whatnot. And it's actually a known restaurant at the school. So there's a lot of, clients and customers that come and they have a bakery as well. So I did that. It was really fun. I learned a lot. I traveled, and then on the weekends they take us to on another excursion. So just all over France, you know. So
Oh, France
sorry,
too.
not France,
Oh.
Florence. That's where I want to go next, guys. It's on my list. I didn't get to go, but I want to go.
Well, speaking of French, your tagline for your business is food plus culture equals pièce de résistance, which is French. Do you speak French?
No, I wish, but I think I'm gonna work on that with some Rosetta Stone. That's my goal.
Awesome. Awesome. Get yourself ready for when you travel over there.
Yes.
Well, I'm curious about this tagline. Where does it come from and what does it mean to you?
Well, when we were rebranding last year, we decided to rebrand it after the pandemic. We were like, we wanted to change up our whole model, whole concept, and so I had to really define my business. And it's food, culture, because all my recipes kind of represent a different culture or ethnicity. And when you mix those two together, it's you get a masterpiece. So that's really what I came up with. It was just food plus culture equals pièce de résistance, and it's a masterpiece. You kind of blending your food, your culture, the experiences, and you just kind of create a masterpiece. So that's how we kind of came up with that.
So, um, about that, I've reviewed your website and seen the photos, and I'm just kind of curious if you've ever come across, people trying to corner you and put you in a box and categorize you and your food, because you're really kind of all over the board. You do have like the base cuisine, but you're borrowing from a lot of different cultures. Where does that come from? And have you ever struggled with somebody trying to categorize you and your food?
Me, yeah. I mean, the people that really like my food and that support me are foodies, and they actually kind of understand those cultures, and they're like, "Well, that does go together." I might not have seen it, or I might not have, ate anything like it, but those, do go together. And so, yeah, people do try to put me in a box. They automatically think I'm just all Southern or whatnot. But when you grow up in the Pacific Northwest, I had growing up, I went to a diverse school. I had Cambodian friends, I had Filipino, I had Thai, I had Mexican, I had friends from Guatemala. So, growing up in our household, we didn't just have Southern food. So, and with my school and my travels, those really influences my dishes. So, and I realized that the people that'll support me, they'll understand, And so, being at the markets, I got to really see a lot of people coming over from Argentina and Colombia. They're like, "Oh yeah, that chimi's great," So I think that's really kind of what I strive for in that, like, my in my head, I have so many different recipes and ideas and whatnot, and I try to do recipe develop to make sure they all they all work, but usually they do. But yeah, I'm not in a box, but people do try to put me in there. But honestly, I can only be me because I'm just not tied to one thing. So.
That's beautiful. Well, talking about food, let's go ahead and talk about your menu. Tell everybody the dishes that you've selected and a little bit about the inspiration behind those.
Yeah, so the tomatillo braised chicken, that was a dish that I made about 10, 12 years ago, right before I went off to college. Um, I made that dish for my going away party, and it was just kind of inspired by the flavors of, you know, the Mexican culture, tomatillos. I love tomatillos, so I created that dish just kind of just referencing that culture. It wasn't a recipe that I had or anything. I just kind of came up with that, but it's been in the family for years now, and it's just my one of my go-to menu items. And the pinto pozole is something that I did for a client that really was trying to kind of stay away from a lot of meat products, whatnot. He was doing more vegetarian. He wanted a little more protein, so I kind of created that using some of the same flavors that I normally cook with. And then the Texas caviar dish my family also is from Texas. My grandfather, my mother's side of the family is from Texas, so that is a staple there. It's a it's a type of bean dish, but I was really like farro. So, and I had a company that reached out to me on Instagram, Bluebird Grains. I love them. They have a good farro. And I just said, well, what else can I do with farro? So I kind of mixed that with the Texas caviar, came up with a nice, dressing to go with it. So, but that is influence from Texas. Um, our hand pies. Is something that's a twist off. For our PCC cooking class last year, we did a sweet potato and apple ham pie, and I just was thinking, what kind of savory ham pie can I make? And so the chicken sausage and the cabbage. Cabbage is a southern staple in our house, and in fried cabbage is just it's a very important dish. So I said, okay, well let me just encase it in some dough and see what happens there. And sweet potato hummus, that's part of our collection. We have a sweet potato pie collection. We have like 10, 15 items, from the pie to the cheesecake to the sweet potato pecan to the pound cake. So the hummus is a part of our collection. And I just was thinking, hey, let's do an appetizer sweet potato hummus and put some fresh vegetables and some pita bread. And then, of course, the whole cake. The whole cake is an old Southern bread, and it goes all the way back to, they say, slavery times. Now, some articles, yeah, they can't really find the truth, but they're saying that the whole cakes, originally was made off a griddle hole that they used to fry the whole cake. So I started making that about 2015, and I just was thinking, what can I put on a whole cake? And it's usually like smoked chicken or pulled pork or something, and so I just was thinking, well, what if I put something braised on there, And then I thought about the vegetarians, what they might like. So I did the kale and sweet potatoes, or we do have a collard greens and sweet potatoes. So, and then our peach cobbler, that is an old staple that we have as part of our collection as well. My mother, she handles the peach cobbler and the sweet potato pies and whatnot, and so she helps me in my business with that. And that's a really good dish. All scratch, everything's all scratch made. Our crust, our seasonings, and yeah, I think I got all the dishes.
I think you
Not sure.
did. Yeah, I think you did. And full disclosure, I already got a chance to try all of them, and
Yes.
I'm smitten.
Yes.
That hummus is phenomenal, and it's so fresh with the vegetables. I mean, you crave fresh vegetables this time of year, so
Yes.
that's a very good choice. And the tomatillo chicken as well is
Yes.
fabulous, and the hoe cakes. Oh my God, it's funny because I think we had this discussion when we first we
Yes.
started talking months ago, and I told you, I've never had a good hoe cake before, but I was inspired to try a hoe cake. And I'm just like, oh, either I'm doing it completely wrong, or, because I did not grow up with hoe cakes. In fact, I think
Right.
I told you that my mom thought hoe cakes were like the leftover pieces of biscuit after you cut them all out that you roll by hand. And I'm like, that's not a hoe cake, Mom. So anyway, amazing hoe cakes. They're really, really good. So if you have ordered your food already and you didn't add on a hoe cake, you might consider it, because I know I'm going to order a stack of them. They're really, really good. They're so delicate too. It's not dense
Right.
like the ones that I made. um, Good. So I wanted to talk about also, community. I know that you do some work through your church and so on, and you were telling me a little bit about how you use your skills to help other people. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So when I'm not working, I'm heavily in my church. I'm an usher there, but we have some major, I was telling Sabrina, we have some major renovation projects going because our pastor inherited this church. It's a 100-year-old building. And so one of the renovation is our kitchen. They kind of want to convert it to a commercial kitchen because there's two caterers in there. So they kind of want to be a blessing to us and help us that way. But they also want to do a food pantry because we are in Capitol Hill. We do have a lot of homeless and whatnot. And so they really want to make sure that this kind of kitchen's done right so that we can, accommodate the homeless and, face food insecurity issues. So that's a project. It's going to take time, but we are diligently working on that project. And I was telling Sabrina about last year, I really got into the Food Innovation Network doing their emergency meal programs. And so it was to help the seniors, feed the seniors, and families and refugees. And so that is something that I want to do with my business. And that is something that I want to do like another feeding program next year with my business. And I'm working on getting some grants for that and getting some more community support to help with that. But that's definitely what inspired me really last year to really get out there and add that to my business as well.
Nice. As you were talking, it occurred to me that I've been working with World Central Kitchen, and they're trying to um, uh, put on a program. It's a chef training program
Oh,
for like
wow.
emergency food relief. So I'll
Okay.
reach out to you if and when you
Absolutely.
coordinate that with Seattle Central University College.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's in your future? Like, what are your dreams for the future, and or for your business? What's
Yes,
going
yes.
on?
So I'm only 30, but I've been doing this a long time. And I think with this last year, it's really made me think about the future and what I want to do transitioning. And I think helping other micro business entrepreneurs like myself succeed. We have a lot of streams of income, and one of them is like the markets and catering. But there is a lot that goes into each of those streams of income and running that successfully. And I have a lot of friends in this industry, some of my Spice Bridge colleagues, and they just kind of reached out to me and just saying that they're kind of struggling. They just don't know what to do, far as their business, how to market, how to you know get more customers, how to wholesale their products, and just all kind of stuff. There's like in our industry, there's permits for everything. If you want to package your goods, if you want to, do catering, and there's licensing, and there's King County Public Health, and it's a lot of things. And if you're an immigrant or someone that just come into this country, like a lot of my friends are, it's really, really hard. So I really want to transition to consulting. That's really what I've been doing is, Monica. I've been helping Monica and some other my Spice Rich people really kind of get out there and really kind of help their business. So I want to transition to do more consulting to helping micro entrepreneurs. Kind of want to build an empire that kind of empowers other micro entrepreneurs, whether it be creating a guidebook for the farmers market, or creating a manual for catering, or how to market, or how to get on YouTube. I really want to kind of focus that in the future. Is just kind of helping micro entrepreneurs to really succeed in this food business. How to pivot, especially during these times. I was unfortunate to know in school, when I was in school, that they talked about how the big mom and pop business, I'm sorry, the big chain business like IHOP and Sizzlers were going to go out of business. And so I had that insight with school, and they just talked about like the trends, like the Jimmy John's and the Starbucks kind of taking over that fast casual type thing. So really helping my micro entrepreneurs kind of pivot to the future. What can your business do to succeed? So I want to do more consulting work. I feel like with micro entrepreneurs in the future.
That's wonderful. It's such important work, and um, clearly there's a lot of need. So
Yeah.
good for you. I have just one final quick question for our viewers. I'm interested to know how our viewers can best support you and your business.
Oh yes, just you can go to just stay on top of us with our social media pages and our website. We will try to update, as soon as possible, whatever kind of ventures we got going on. There are things that we are working on in the near future, but we haven't released it yet. But follow us for our farmers markets, or any catering services, or anything. You can email me or whatnot. Yeah, just follow us on. We'll let you guys know what we have in store for the future. That really be helpful and whatnot.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jalissa. We have it's 5:31, so we have a few minutes, and I wanted to open it up if anybody has any questions specifically for Jalissa.
I think we each had one.
Oh,
My question was, did I hear you say you put 7-Up in your pound cake?
yes, 7-Up pound cake. That is a old Southern tradition, and especially
I've never had it.
yes, and especially in the Black community, it was church potlucks. You had 7-Up cake, spaghetti, and fried chicken. Okay, it's delicious. You can't really taste it like that, but it's the acidity and the acid from the 7-Up that you don't even need like baking powder or anything. So yeah, but it's a really good cake. It's an old cake, old recipe.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you're doing work at a church in Capitol Hill. I just want to know what church, because we're in Capitol Hill.
Oh, okay. So the church is Madison Temple. I don't know if you've seen it, Madison Temple. I'm trying to think. It's right across from what is that? Not nursing home. What is that? I don't know what it is on the corner of.
Oh, right by Aegis Living?
Yes, Aegis Living. I could not get it out. Right across the street from Aegis Living. Oh, I couldn't think of their name.
Okay.
So yes, it's on Madison.
Yes, it's on Madison. My pastor took that church over. I was telling Sabrina earlier. The pastor died in 2019, and so we took it over. So that's why we're doing a lot of remodeling and work and whatnot. But yes.
Well, because you had said something about doing food, like working.
Yes. The food pantry. So
the
that
food pantry and all that. Because I was just interested in more about.
Yes. So right now we're doing renovations for the church, and so after the renovation's done, that's going to be one of the things that we're going to focus on is the food pantry.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to having your food. Sounds delicious.
I'm so happy. Thank you for supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Like, I have no idea.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, viewers, for showing up and supporting Jalissa. Sorry, we really appreciate the support, as she mentioned, and the program is ongoing, and we have Adama Jama next month. Do you know her?
Yes,
she's
part
also,
of Spice Bridge.
Yes. Yeah, she's part of Spice Bridge as well. She makes food from Gambia. So that's going to be also an interesting meal. And then further ahead, we have probably in the fall, probably in November, we have a chocolatier. And we might just do a whole dessert session around that one. And then in December, this is something to look forward to. I am working on inviting all of the guest chefs back for a market in the restaurant at La Spiga, where everybody can have their stand and sell their products as gifts for Christmas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to.
I love that.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and thank you, Jalissa, so much for your time and for cooking for us, and we look forward to eating your meal.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.